Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the hundreds and hundreds of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, first of all, excuse my shirt looks a little dirty right now. Excuse my shirt being dirty. I was just in my kitchen making some pizza. I had to make the pizza earlier, so there's a little bit of flour on my shirt, but we continue to work, we continue to grind, and we continue to stay true to ourselves here on TSS. But here we go, man. SHOBOX, second bout of the night was between, you had the undefeated, big boy, the big punching Jarell Miller versus Donovan Dennis. Now this bout was interesting from just the two guys' backgrounds. We know that Miller has very limited amateur experience. We know that he only had 11 amateur fights as a boxer. He came from the mixed martial arts background. He was an MMA fighter. That didn't work out for him, so then he came to boxing. He was coming off 3 straight KOs coming into this fight, and he sparred with guys like Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko. So that being said, we know that Jarell Miller was a very game opponent for tonight's matchup or yesterday's matchup, I should say, as I'm shooting this video. Donovan Dennis. Now, Donovan Dennis was like 12-2 coming into this fight. He was coming off of a 8th round TKO loss to Andre Frodsov, I think is his name. He had 2 glaring advantages in this fight. Not glaring advantage. One glaring advantage and another slight advantage. The one slight advantage he had was the reach advantage, which was 79-78 in favor of him. And then on top of that, he had the advantage in amateur background, amateur pedigree. He had 100 amateur fights to Jarell Miller's 11 amateur fights. So that's, you'd think that the experience would come into play here. So let's get into it, man. First round, Jarell Miller comes out and he just lays this. She puts it on this dude like bad, real bad. I thought, and a lot of people thought that, Donovan was going to get stopped in the first round, but he didn't. He was able to tie him up in some spots and kind of chew some clock up and get to the next round. And I think when you're an amateur fighter and you get into trouble, you can kind of, that's what you learn. That's what you learn in the amateurs. You learn how to recover, stay calm, stay composed, and he did a good job of that because he was getting tattooed. Some great shots by Jarell Miller. Jarell, I thought, was in jeopardy of punching himself out because he was throwing some thunderous shot. I mean, he put some real steam behind these punches. So Jarell had some problems there with that. Then you have, as the fight goes on, Donovan needed to, kind of exploit that reach advantage and box more. He couldn't do that. His punches weren't hurting Jarell at all. And as the fight goes on, Jarell continues to just put it on him all fight long, put it on him. And then I would say around because he stops Donovan around the 7th round. He gets the knockout in the 7th round, but I would say around round 5, around that time, he begins to start boxing more, being more patient, measuring him with the jab, and then the key for him was cutting the ring off, and he would eventually. And he just continued putting it on Donovan, and in the 7th round, he was just landing too many vicious shots. An accumulation of punishment was on this guy Donovan, and he was out of there. So Jarell Miller gets a good win. He had been fighting some guys who were not that great, and this guy was a step up fight for him. So he looked good in this fight, and he improves to, I believe, I'm going to say 16-0 or something like that. So, Jarell Miller, he's definitely somebody that is a prospect that's getting there in the mix. He came out, when he beat this guy, he came out and he said all this stuff about, and when he called these guys out, he didn't do it in an arrogant way or a boastful way. He was actually very, he had a happy tone when he called out the heavyweight division. He called out the likes of Tyson Fury. He called out the likes of Charles Martin, which honestly I wouldn't mind seeing. I think Jarell Martin's actually better, or Jarell Miller is better than Charles Martin. He called out Deontay Wilder. He called out all the champions at heavyweight, but we know he didn't call Luis Ortiz. Nobody's calling out Luis Ortiz, but he called out all those guys, and he's definitely not ready for no Fury nor Wilder. We know that. But as far as Charles Martin, make that fight happen, because Charles Martin is green. Charles Martin, like I said in my video, the Google Hangout, he's very limited himself, and I think Jarell, with his punching power, with the weight advantage, with limited but still some sort of boxing skills, I think he beats Martin in any scenario. He beats him fighting with him, trading with him. He beats him boxing him. So I would actually like to see that matchup. Maybe get Jarell a fight or two more, get Charles a fight or two more against guys they can beat, and then you match them up with each other. I think that's a good stylistic matchup, and I think that's just a good fight. So hopefully if Jarell's gonna get an even bigger step up, that's one of the step ups, because even though Martin has a belt, I don't view him as a champion. So you guys let me know what you think. Jarell Miller gets the stoppage in the 7th round over Donovan Dennis, and he makes a statement on SHOBOX. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.